Oh, what is good, guys? As you guys can see, we are back with another reaction video. Today we're going to be reacting to the top 5 strangest disappearances with shocking conclusions. I saw this and I was like, this would be an interesting thing to react to. I'm actually pretty sure it's pretty old. It actually is 2 years old. Alright, 2 years old. That's not that bad. But we're going to be reacting to this, and if you guys do want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I don't know why I did that. Turn on post notice, join the Discord down below in the description. If you guys do want to see more videos, comment down below. Besides that, let's get straight into the video. Okay. Whoa. Chill, lax. Alright, let's get it.
History is filled with legitimately countless cases of people disappearing without nary a trace, and left in their wake are unanswered questions and mysteries waiting to be solved. While it could happen to any of us, there's something all that more interesting when someone everybody knows goes missing under mysterious circumstances. And sometimes the abduction cases themselves are so strange that they go on to live in infamy. Here are 5 cold cases of famous people disappearing.
Famous people. Interesting.
Number 5, Gene Spangler.
Gene Spangler. It sounds familiar.
Well, this begins with the mysterious disappearance of a prominent woman whose dream of stardom fizzled out with her sudden departure from the limelight 70 years ago. Gene Spangler was born in Seattle, Washington, and when she was a teen, moved to New York City to attend the prestigious Earl Carroll Theater Company, hoping to make it big one day on the silver screen. Through her God-given beauty and talent in dancing and acting, the starlet was able to make a name for herself, even landing a small role in the 1950s Kirk Douglas film, Young Man with a Horn.
But it's fine.
She got roles in other noteworthy films like When My Baby Smiles at Me and Chicken Every Sunday. And she had also been a stand-in for Elizabeth Taylor. But her shot at fame came to an unfortunate and abrupt halt on a brisk autumn day back on October 7th, 1949. 26-year-old Jean left her home in Los Angeles that day and told her sister-in-law that she was going to meet up with her ex-husband to discuss some child support payments. The last time the woman was actually seen alive, she was at a grocery store close to her home, but Jean never returned there, and no one ever saw or heard from her again since.
That's how you know,
2 days later, the woman's...
That's how you know the husband did it. That's how you know he did it. Last person she was with, and she went missing. That's how you know it was
purse
husband.
Was found at the entrance of Griffith Park in L.A. Both straps were torn loose, so it appeared as if it had been forcefully snatched off her arm. And no money was found inside. However, Jean's sister-in-law said that the missing woman didn't bring any when she left the house. There was, however, a note, though, which read, "Kirk, can't wait any longer. Going to see Dr. Scott. It will work best this way while Mother is away." Police immediately worked on the lead by locating every Kirk or Dr. Scott in the area, but none of them seemed to be tied to the woman in any way.
While Mother is away.
Meanwhile,
while Mother is away. Wouldn't that mean that it's like her sibling then? Because, like, Mother. I mean, that only makes sense, am I right? Maybe I'm wrong.
Over 200 volunteers and police officers joined together to search for Jean, but not a single significant clue was found. Investigators, of course, initially considered her ex-husband a suspect in the disappearance, but he was eventually left off the hook due to a lack of evidence.
Yep.
Also investigated was her alleged involvement with a man who, according to rumors, had connections to organized crime.
Really?
Despite all the efforts, the case still went cold, and Spangler's disappearance is still a mystery. Where she went or who she went with is unknown, though there have been many theories and speculations that surfaced over the years. Some think the actress was a victim of foul play. For others, it's possible she may have run away to start a new life. Jean truly was a candle burned out long before the legend ever did.
Interesting.
Number 4, Christopher Dansby and Shane Walker.
Shane Walker.
It was in 1989 when news broke out about 2 separate incidents where 2 small children Christopher Dansby and Shane Walker suddenly disappeared from their respective homes in Harlem, New York. These two cases are eerily similar in that they took place in the same part of NYC. They happened during the same time of day and week. Most importantly, both cases remain unsolved. To get a better understanding, here are the facts.
Interesting.
Though the boys never played together and their mothers never knew one another, both families were practically next-door neighbors at the expansive Martin Luther King Jr. Towers housing project in Harlem. Those who lived there often visited the nearby playground on Lenox Avenue, where most parents and guardians would let their kids roam free for the most part. On Thursday, May 18, 1989 at 7 p.m., Allison left her 2-year-old son Christopher with her mother to watch over him while she went to get some groceries. In a later interview, Christopher's grandmother said she only took her eyes off the boy for a moment, but when she turned back, he was no longer there.
What?
By the time Allison returned with some snacks, it was already too late. Similarly, 19-month-old Shane Walker was at the same park at around 7 in the evening on Thursday, August 10th of '89. Mom, Rosa Glover, was sitting on the bench watching her toddler when two older kids approached and asked if they could play with Shane. She said it was fine, and just as quickly a man sat down next to her and started striking up a conversation. Courtesy prompted her to look at the person as they talked, turning her head slightly away from the baby. And then, when she turned back to look at her child, he was gone. These strange details led investigators to come up with various theories about how the two cases could be linked. For one, many believe that Dansby and Walker were abducted as part of a conspiracy to sell babies for adoption. At the height of the investigation, it was believed that someone might be desperate enough to adopt a baby but unqualified to do so. So as a result, he or she stole the children, or at the very least hired someone to do it. Another theory pointed out to the possibility that the kidnappings might be drug-related, such that children, for a variety of reasons, may have been sold in order to buy drugs. This theory is a little more far-fetched, but not out of the question. These two incidents happened in the same place just months apart, and yet the Criminal Justice Service says that the abduction of children by a stranger is relatively rare. By far, most missing persons cases, including that of minors, are non-custodial parental kidnappings and runaways, meaning it's most likely a family member who abducts the victim. There's also the terrifying theory that the person doing this was a serial killer running loose in the project.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's actually scary as heck. Honestly, I feel like those little kids that were like asking to play with I think his name was Shane, the Shane Walker. I think they were with the plan with that guy that was talking to the mom. Because like if you think about it, why would little kids want to play with a kid that's like not even 2 years old yet? Like it doesn't really make sense. It also doesn't make sense why the mom let the little kid play. I mean, like unsupervised especially. But the other one, I don't really know what happened with him. It didn't really give much details more than like his grandma walked away and then like went missing when she looked up, which she honestly probably looked like away for a long time for that to happen, because there's no way like you relook your book for what, say 2-3 seconds and you look back up and it's gone. Like she was probably looking at her book for a long time. I just lied.
Glover once received a phone call saying her son was buried in an abandoned building. However, police could not find any solid proof that this was the case. These two cases are very strange, and because they happen in the same place, are very much most likely connected. How or why, though, we may never know.
That's sad.
Number 3,
sad.
Ambrose Bierce. A master of the macabre, Ambrose Bierce stands almost as tall as the likes of literary masters Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft. The author of The Devil's Dictionary and An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge
Oh, so you mean
Bierce's
like those
works have been
creepy books?
described as some of the most famous and frequently anthologized stories in American literature. But aside from his literary genius, this prolific and versatile writer was also a well-regarded journalist in the U.S. And during the last years of his life, Bierce truly found his niche and was more into journalistic writing than ever before. At the age of 71 in October of 1913, Bierce made his way south as he toured his old Civil War battlefields. He made his way west, ultimately towards Mexico, as he had expressed his intentions to cover and gain first-hand experience of the Mexican Revolution being led by Pancho Villa. This was a defining event happening south of the border, and Bierce was able to tag along as an observer during several battles. In one final letter to a friend dated December 26, 1913, Bierce said that he'd be leaving for an unknown destination, and after which, he vanished without a trace. The U.S. Consular Office in Mexico subsequently conducted an investigation regarding the man's disappearance, and those who were interrogated, including several of Villa's men, most of whom gave contradictory accounts. The general's representative in the U.S. was also interviewed, and according to him, rumor has it that Bierce was executed by a firing squad in Sierra Mojada, Mexico. But still, no one could verify this story, and the truth is, all of what Bierce was doing may have actually been part of a different plan of his all along. Some scholars and fans of his work speculate that the real answer to this mystery could be found in his own stories. And in fact, researchers were able to establish eerie parallels between his fiction and that of his real-life disappearance. He often talked about suicide and the fear of dying of old age and disease. But many believe that Bierce deliberately caused confusion about what happened to him, and that he may have actually gone out the way he wanted to, by taking his own life.
Yeah. Dang.
Number 2.
I just realized they're out of maybe Bierce was famous. I don't know, but besides that, we've only had one person that was famous. I don't think the little kids were famous. I mean, they weren't famous, but I don't know. There's only been one so far. Jeez, I don't know why it took me so long to.
Manhattan, 1910. The place was just about as busy and bustling as the city we know today, which is why it's hard to imagine that a beautiful, famous, and socialite kind of woman could vanish amidst the crowds there in broad daylight. However, on December 12, 1910, Dorothy Arnold did exactly that. Dorothy lived a charmed life. Her father, a Harvard graduate, was the founder of Arnold & Co. Perfume and Cologne Imports. The name Arnold itself held a certain ring of New World royalty back then, and rightfully so, as the family were proud descendants of the Mayflower passenger William Brewster. The family enjoyed a privileged existence. Still, though, despite their affluent status, nothing could shield the family from what was about to happen to their daughter.
Oh no.
On that morning of December 12th, 25-year-old Dorothy told her mother that she wanted to go out shopping for a dress that she wanted to wear to her younger sister's upcoming debutante ball. She reportedly ran several errands that day, stopping by at the chocolatier store to purchase some tasty treats and popping into a bookstore. Clerks there all attested to the woman's high spirits when they talked to her, though there were no reports indicating that she ever did arrive at the shop where she intended to buy that dress. By nightfall, the Arnolds began to worry when Dorothy still hadn't arrived back home. Despite her absence, the family decided not to alert the police for fear that the incident might make it to the news and thus could mark up their good reputation. What they did, though, was reach out to some friends and private investigators to look into the matter. When their attempts proved fruitless, the family was forced to file a missing persons report with the NYPD in January of 1911. By then, almost a month had passed, and Dorothy was nowhere to be found. Various theories, sightings, and rumors about the woman's disappearance have since surfaced, with one suggesting that the perfume heiress may have run away to start a new life. It was found out that she had a desire to pursue a career in writing, a thing that didn't bode well with her family considering her social status. Based on the way they handled her as a missing person, it's not surprising to see how she may have not enjoyed that sort of life of scrutiny. So, it's possible that she may have faked her own disappearance in order to create a new life elsewhere under
That
a
would be
different
cool.
name.
You know, that would actually be cool if she like, I mean, it wouldn't be cool, but like, if she turned into an author and we don't even know it, that would be kind of cool.
Still, another more gruesome possibility was considered as well, that Dorothy may have been kidnapped or even murdered. At that time, high-status women were being kidnapped and held for ransom, although the Arnolds never confirmed if they in fact did receive a demand. She may have fought back against her attackers, and perhaps the worst happened, and then her body disposed of somewhere unknown. There were also speculations saying that Dorothy may have been murdered by someone she personally knew, like a former lover or rival. Whatever the case may be, more than a century later, Dorothy Arnold's sudden disappearance remains unsolved to this day. Her case has since become the subject of many books, articles, and documentaries, all of which attempt to shed some sort of light on the mystery.
Interesting.
Number 1. Sean Flynn.
Sean Flynn.
Nepotism is real, and often we see it with famous parents helping their children gain notoriety in one way or another.
Nature's nobody's behind me.
Sean Flynn, for example, gained popularity because he happened to be the son of legendary Hollywood hunk Errol Flynn. Born in 1941 in California, Sean initially followed in his old man's footsteps and tried to pursue a career in acting. But things never really clicked for him. As time went on, the young man realized that it wasn't really the limelight that he craved. He was never passionate about Hollywood. It was through his love for photography that really fueled him. He was able to travel all around the world, capturing stunning images of people and places along the way. The more he shot, the more he wanted to do better, do more, and snap pictures in a way never seen before. Coupled with his panache for adventure, Sean started working with a group of like-minded, high-risk photojournalists, people like Tim Page, Henry Hewitt, and Dana Stone, to name a few. And many of these people had seen action in the battlefield during Vietnam. Despite the risk, they would do anything to get not only the best, but the grittiest pictures possible. Putting themselves in harm's way was well worth it as far as they were concerned, and Sean felt no different. In March of 1966, Flynn was shot and wounded in the knee while over in Vietnam covering the war. Then in April of that same year, he joined the U.S. Green Berets on patrol when they were ambushed by the South Vietnamese communists.
Bro's a beast.
Though he wasn't in the
Bro was a
army, he
beast.
was given a rifle anyway and made to fight his way out of the intense battle. Unfettered and unshaken by the apparent danger of his line of work, Flynn kept on pushing the limits. In 1970, Sean and Dana were deployed in Cambodia to cover the ongoing strife between pro-government groups and the Khmer Rouge. And luck must have run out for the two because, according to reports, this would be the last time they were seen alive. After a brief press conference in Saigon, the pair jumped onto their motorcycles and headed to an area where they were supposed to interview a few of the enemies. Technically, journalists are supposed to be off limits in time of war, but the rules aren't always followed. Despite being warned by many not to proceed, both Flynn and Stone did otherwise. As a result, they were taken off their vehicles and ordered to march toward the nearby tree line, and neither was ever seen alive again.
Dang.
Despite the extensive search efforts and investigations conducted in the following years, the fate of the two photographers remains unknown. Of course, many believe that they were held captive in a Vietnamese prison camp and were killed after. And then still others heard rumors that Flynn and Stone were executed right there after they were captured. Conspiracy theorists, however, went on to speculate that the U.S. government had their hand in it all. that the pair of photojournalists had in their possession information or images that compromised the U.S. Army's war efforts. As such, they were told to go do the interview, that everything would be safe, knowing, in fact, that the exact opposite was true.
Interesting.
So there were 5 cold cases of famous people disappearing. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you like this
Famous
episode, please
people.
do subscribe so you don't miss out on all the new content we're putting out each week. Follow our socials down in the description below for even more exclusive content. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon.
Wow. What an amazing video. That was amazing. Make sure you guys check out Scary Mysteries. I'll put his thing down below in the description. This is actually a really good video. I was actually very interested in what was going on. I mean, maybe they are famous, I don't know, but there's only one I knew out of the 4, or I guess 6 that were there. Well, guys, that is going to be wraps for today's video. If you guys do want to see more, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, turn on post notice, join the Discord down below in the description, and if there's any other videos you guys want to see, comment down below. Besides that, it's your boy J280, and I'm out. Peace.